Right now, a look back at the last time the National Guard was deployed to Madison ahead of this weekend's protest.
Plus, whether the former Oregon swim instructor charged with child sexual assault will have another trial.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, 30 years, that's how long Brandon Thompson will spend in prison for assaulting and raping a young woman in downtown Madison in 2023.
A Dane County judge handing down that sentence today for what then Madison Police Chief Sean Barnes called one of the most horrific sexual assaults in recent memory. Armand Rahman has more from the courtroom.
Brandon Thompson had no prior connection to the UW student he assaulted and raped here on the 500 block of West Wilson Street back in 2023. But the judge says it's that randomness that makes him even more dangerous.
It was brutal. It was senseless, inexplicable, which means repeatable.
Judge Ellen Burrs says protecting the public was top of mind and sentenced Thompson to 30 years in prison and 20 years of extended supervision. The state prosecutors detailed the events leading up to the assault that night in September with surveillance video that showed Thompson following and trying to get ahead of the woman throughout downtown.
She is at least the third woman he followed and pursued. He followed her and stalked her and preyed on her as she walked home through the streets of Madison.
After saying he found the woman beaten and lying in the street, Thompson changed his story and told detectives that he attacked the woman, that he, quote, finally just popped and found something to hit. The judge ordered that Thompson was not eligible for probation. Reporting in downtown Madison, Armand Rahman, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Armand. And we want to take a moment to remind you of some resources that are available in the community. This is the helpline for the RCC Sexual Violence Resource Center in Dane County. You can call anytime, any day of the week to confidentially discuss your situation, your feelings, and your options with local advocates.
And let's get a look at our first warn forecast. Our summer-like weather continues. Blaze is out on the patio, soaking it all up. Hey, Blaze.
There we go.
It's okay, yes. It's sunny out. You got distracted.
It is beautiful outside. I think I see a bald eagle flying overhead. The cedar waxwings are busy eating the little berries on the tree next to me. It is a gorgeous afternoon. We are watching some rain move across northern parts of our coverage area, but not really impacting us. But we could still squeeze out an isolated shower or two as we head overnight into Friday. We're also going to keep the hazy conditions as well. Notice, though, a lot of that green, the yellow, the orange staying well north of us into more of northern Wisconsin as we kick off your Friday. We're going to continue to watch as mainly northern Wisconsin sees a lot of this rain at least Friday and Saturday. But then we get our turn as we go Monday into Tuesday of next week. And that is some great news. We'll take a look at the latest drought conditions and also look at how much rain we could see over the next 7 to 10 days in the full forecast. In the meantime, tonight and really throughout the rest of the afternoon, partly sunny to partly cloudy to mostly cloudy overnight. A stray shower can't be ruled out. I would say folks near to La Crosse and then closer to Fond du Lac could have that stray shower chance, but most of us will stay dry this evening as we dip to around where we should be for this time of year. As I mentioned, we'll take a look at the drought conditions and how much rain we could pick up as we go over the next 7 to 10 days in the full forecast.
Thank you, Blaze. Amid demonstrations against ICE raids and President Donald Trump's mobilization of troops in Los Angeles, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem spoke in the city where a California senator was forcibly removed. Senator Alex Padilla shouted during Noem's press conference. Video here shows him being removed. Secretary Noem claims nobody knew who the senator was when he interrupted her. Padilla says he was there peacefully and was forced to the ground and handcuffed.
Protests are expected to continue tonight, and now Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul is weighing in on the president's response. He's joining 21 other states opposing the deployment of the military. A statement from Kaul reads in part, quote, the Trump administration's eagerness to deploy the military in an American city is a major warning sign for our democracy. This is not normal, and it must not become normalized. The judiciary should stop this.
As the protests continue in LA, we're expecting protests over ICE deportations here in Madison this weekend.
But as our LA La Liberté shows us, Madison has an even deeper connection with the situation in Los Angeles. Ellie?
Well, this is a look at LA today. And this is a look at Madison in 1969. And the one thing they have in common, the National Guard was deployed to control crowds of sometimes violent protesters in both situations. However, the biggest difference between LA today and Madison decades ago is that the president was the one to call the National Guard to California and not the governor. Now, I spoke to a former Wisconsin Guard member who served in the 60s as the public affairs officer during the protests over Vietnam. Dave Zweffel is now an editor emeritus of the Cap Times and says the use of President Trump's power is unusual.
The situation that we're seeing now is very unusual, with the president deciding that, well, I'm going to bypass the governor. It was never ever contemplated during the days that I was involved with the call-ups and that with the Wisconsin Guard.
It's been an interesting situation for sure, and I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, what is the role of the National Guard when it comes to protests like these?
Yeah, well, they can't arrest, they can't make any arrests. That is still up to local law enforcement. However, they are still to act as guards. That's really in the name, it's the best way to put it. And this means trying to keep protesters from entering certain areas, trying to keep the peace. They also typically are called in when local law enforcement is overwhelmed and needs some additional support.
Are there any similarities that stood out to you between what happened in Madison in the 60s and what's happening right now in LA?
Yeah, one of the things that we talked about during that interview that you just saw a clip of there was the fact that guards can actually intensify situations. They can be kind of a target for protesters sometimes and escalate things. That's something that we are seeing in LA a little bit, and we did see back in Madison during the 60s as well. I will dive a little bit deeper into that tonight. You can watch my full report at 6 this night.
We will see you at 6. Looking forward to that. Thank you,
Thank
Ellen.
you.
After 2 mistrials, a former Oregon swim teacher is no longer facing child sexual assault charges. A judge has dismissed the 3 charges of second-degree child sexual assault against 71-year-old James Miker. The district attorney charged Miker for allegedly groping children at the Oregon Community Pool in 2022, where he worked as a teacher. In November of last year, a jury deadlocked on the charges, and a mistrial was declared for Miker's case. Last month, he went back to trial. The jury deadlocked again, resulting in another mistrial. The dismissal of the charges against him means he will not have a third trial.
A heavy lift at the Capitol as lawmakers on the state's powerful budget writing committee take up budget bills for K-12 schools and the state's income tax.
Political reporter Will Keneally is at the Capitol with the latest.
We're here outside a hearing room in the state capitol. Now we're waiting for Republicans who are meeting behind closed doors to figure out what action they want to take on things like K-12 education funding. And we're expecting the debate later today to include things like funding on special education. Now, some advocates met earlier today at the state capitol, arguing that the Republicans who control the committee are not doing enough to fund special education in Wisconsin schools. They say this could have an impact on districts like Madison's.
Without this funding will continue to get worse. This gap will get worse, and students will not get what they need. And we're fighting to provide accommodations for every student. We'll still provide it on our own, but it means we go to referendum.
That means that the cost to fund special education could shift to property taxes for residents in the Madison School District. Voters last year actually approved a $100 million referendum for MMSD schools' operating budgets. This is actually a personal story for Nikki Vandermeulen, who we heard from there. She's the first person with autism to serve on the Madison School Board, and we'll hear more from her as well as politicians coming up tonight at 5.
Thank you, Will. And we do have a statement from State Superintendent Jill Underly on tonight's budget talks. She's calling for lawmakers to prioritize public education, saying in part, this budget is much more than dollars. It's about our values. It's about the child who goes to bed hungry and comes to school distracted and tired. It's about the teenager battling depression or anxiety in silence with no one to turn to. These are the daily realities in classrooms across Wisconsin, and they demand more than words. They demand action.
Well, next on Live at 4, why the U.S. is telling Americans in the Middle East to get out.
Plus, what a mistakenly deported man's attorneys are accusing the Trump administration of doing. Attorneys for a Maryland man mistakenly deported are asking a judge to put severe sanctions on the Trump administration. Last Friday, the U.S. brought Kilmar Abrego Garcia back to charge him with human smuggling. That came after he spent months in El Salvador. Despite a judge's order, the administration facilitate his return. Abrego Garcia's attorney says the government violated the order and lied in court. The White House has not responded. We should note in court the government acknowledged it wrongly deported Abrego Garcia, something the president still denies.
At least 290 people are dead after an Air India plane bound for London crashed this morning. Only one passenger survived. Video shows the Boeing jet's last seconds in the sky. The plane loses altitude and bursts into a huge fireball. The plane went down in a residential area. Indian flight officials say pilots issued a mayday right after takeoff and lost signal less than a minute into the flight. American officials have offered to help with the investigation into what happened.
President Trump says an attack from Israel on Iran could come at any time. Right now, the U.S. government is warning Americans within striking distance of Iranian forces to get out of the Middle East. This as the administration's special envoy to the Middle East plans to meet for a 6th round of talks with Iran about a potential nuclear deal.
It's a nice, warm summer day out there. I guess this time of the year, Blaze, you always have to be ready for a pop-up shower out of nowhere, but it's nice right now.
Yes. We're in that point of the year where we build up a lot of that energy throughout the day, and then as temperatures start to cool, the late afternoon, early evening, we see those stray showers or thunderstorms because at least for the last couple of days, if not weeks, we haven't had any big systems bringing more organized thunderstorms and even severe weather through the area. Stray showers and storms not only tonight, but into Friday as well. The weekend, which obviously is going to include Father's Day, is kind of going to be the same. A stray shower or two, but we start to see a better chance for more widespread rain. Father's Day, particularly Monday and Tuesday of next week. Most of us will probably sit underneath partly sunny conditions on Friday, right about where we should be for this time of year. Mid to upper 70s, a few low 80s can't be ruled out. And again, a stray shower or thunderstorm can't be ruled out either. Because we have no organized upper level support, we talk about the upper levels because they play such an important role in our daily weather. If you can get upper level winds and turning and lift or movement upwards in the atmosphere, you can have a better chance for severe weather. We just don't have that. So these are just most likely going to be garden variety showers and thunderstorms as we go into your Saturday afternoon, staying towards the north. Sunday, we'll likely see some activity develop out in southeastern Minnesota, northeastern Iowa, and then push their way south and eastward overnight Father's Day. And then we look ahead to next week. Rain and thunderstorms will move out of the Minneapolis area and continue to impact us as we go into Tuesday as well. So we're not anticipating much as we go throughout Friday. Partly sunny conditions, maybe at times mostly sunny, but our winds continue to either remain out of the east or at the very least out of the southeast. So we're not seeing a whole lot of movement, and that's the reason why tomorrow our air quality will be moderate to unhealthy for some throughout the day as well. Father's Day, though, right around the corner. Variable cloudiness we will see, as I just mentioned, those showers and thunderstorms possibly as we head further into the afternoon as those winds remain light and out of the south. All this rain, while it may put a damper on your outdoor plans, is some great news. So much welcome rain is in the forecast. Some of us could pick up anywhere between 1 to 2 inches of rain over the next 7 days, which is some good news because even though the arrows are green down, indicating we made some reductions or reduced the percentage of the state underneath abnormally dry or moderate drought conditions, the percentage change from last week to this week has been basically less than 1% for both the abnormally dry and the moderate drought percentage. So we really do need some rain out there, especially along the Illinois-Wisconsin state line. And we have a couple chances to get some very beneficial rain without the threat of severe weather. We will start to dry out and flirt with the 90s by the middle of next week, and then we slide back into those low 80s to round out our upcoming work week.
Thank you, Blaze. June is dairy month in Wisconsin, and a family farm in the 608 is celebrating a big milestone.
They invited our Josh Spreiter to discover what keeps them going.
Yeah, if it was easy, everybody would do it.
It's a family affair at the Nunn Farm.
Everybody comes here.
Sitting on roughly 300 acres just north of Cross Plains, the memories span generations.
It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun too. I mean, I'm living my dream.
Wes Nunn is the 5th-generation farmer. He now lives on the property with his wife Tara and their 3 kids, Kipton, Bo, and Hazley. Wes is proud to be the one pushing the farm over the 125-year mark.
There ain't a whole lot of farms even going over 100 nowadays, and it's just nice to be part of something great.
Not only are these memories about work, they're personal. Wes and Tara got married right here 7 years ago this week. Now they're excited to see their kids grow up on the farm.
I love it. When we moved out here 2 years ago, that was always kind of our end goal, to be here. It's always what he's wanted. And once we were out here, our 3 kids, it's his dream, it's my dream, it's all of our dream. I couldn't be happier being out here with them.
This is the family favorite when it comes to views, the hilltop overlooking the property. In addition to farming the land, they also milk around 60 cows, along with managing a herd of beef cattle, among other animals you would probably expect to see on a farm. Wes's dad, Bob, along with Bob's many brothers, are proud to see the traditions living on.
You know, everybody's like, oh, you know, the farm's worth so much. It's only worth so much if you sell it, you know. But if we can pass it on, priceless.
But will it be passed on to the next generation? Here's what 9-year-old Kipton told me.
I'm hoping to be the 6th generation. I play a lot of sports. It's hard to keep up with it all, but we do it. And I really enjoy helping my dad and other people in the summer.
That answer, of course, gets his dad excited, but Wes is encouraging the kids to live in the now.
It's in my cow.
I'm hoping. I'm not going to push them. I want them to figure it out themselves, kind of how my dad did for me. And, you know, I got to do the sport thing and go hang out with friends, and eventually I just came back as I guess I'm supposed to.
Wanting to pass that knowledge to the next generation is key to successfully farming into the future. In Cross Plains, Josh Breiter, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Josh. We'll have to check in with Kipton in a couple of years to see how farming's going.
What an impressive young man. Thanks to all of our dairy farmer friends this June Dairy Month. We have so much to be thankful for.
Yep. Well, coming up on Live at 4, local kids biking for a good cause.
We'll talk to members of the Riders for Race Amity when Live at 4 continues. Welcome back. Race Amity Day is observed the second Sunday in June every year. It was established to advocate for race understanding and friendship among people of all different races.
Well, locally, 8 teens are leaving tomorrow to ride their bikes from Madison to Montgomery, Alabama. And this long distance is not just an endurance test, it's a movement to bridge racial divides. Samaya Myers is one of the youth riders, and Karen Shore is an organizer. Thank you so much for being on with us.
Welcome, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
Samaya, that sounds like quite a long bike ride. 1,200 miles, did I hear?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to the most?
I'm going to be looking forward to going to the Legacy Museums in Montgomery, Alabama.
Yeah, a lot of history there. What are you, I guess, hoping to take back with you when you leave those museums?
I guess to be more educated on it, because genuinely I don't know much about them. I just heard from Kate, the person who got me into the bike trip.
Very good.
Now, you're going to be a sophomore next year at Memorial High School here in Madison. Karen, tell us a little bit about how this all came together. This is the first time you've done something like this.
This is a pilot year, yes. Kate, who Samaya just referred to, she and my daughter and I went to the museums last June at this time. And we left there very inspired. We already do a lot of work with Race Amity here in Madison, but we were inspired to do something, and Kate came up with a bike ride. And it kind of waxed and waned a little bit until the youth, we have 8 youth joining us who are really passionate about this topic. And they wanted to join, and then it just took off, and a lot of steam and support and interest kind of followed them. And so we've been going on home visits where we ride to their homes. We've been to Cedarburg and Waukesha and Rockford and a few other places. And the kids have been practicing not only biking, but also sharing what they know about Race Amity and how they feel about it and why they feel the way they do about it. There's a lot of interracial relationships among all the youth. and they're concerned about what's going on, and so they really want to build race amity, which is friendship and understanding across racial and ethnic lines.
Yeah.
So it's a wonderful project that has just blossomed. Other than we haven't done the ride yet.
We believe in you. Samaya, why do you think it is important to bridge any racial divide or just bring awareness to what Karen was talking about?
Why it's important to bring awareness to it?
Yeah.
I feel like there's not enough people who are like aware about like what's going on in the world and how different races experience different like prejudices and stuff just because of the color of their skin. And I feel like that shouldn't be something that not everyone like knows about, I guess. Or
Good for you. They're going to learn a lot more about race amity after this. Did you have to train a lot for this ride? Are you a big biker?
Yeah, kind of. Not before I knew about it, but now I am.
Have you ever done anything like this before?
Not really.
And what are you most looking forward to on this ride?
The museums.
The museums?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the things you're going to learn?
Yeah.
Well, safe travels to both of you, and this is a wonderful event, so thank you for sharing it with us.
When do you expect to get there, Karen, quickly?
Probably in 10 days. We're stopping in cities all the way along the way, and we're having meaningful conversations, which is how we're going to share what we feel passionate about.
Please come back. When you're all done with the ride, we'd love to hear about it. And
We'd
take
love
pictures.
to have good stories to tell.
Safe travels, ladies.
Thank you.
Good to see
Thank
you.
you.
We'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for staying with Live at 4 on this Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, and what a beautiful day so far. The weather words today, smoke and shower chances. It's too bad, but people are still outside enjoying the weather right now, Blaze.
It's beautiful outside. Aside from that little bit of haze, temperatures aren't too bad. The birds are chirping. The chipmunks are eating the bird seed, and so are the squirrels. So the birds have got to get over there and eat some of that themselves. Now, we are tracking a little bit of rain on radar 3000, but we have to head all the way up to Juneau and Adams County. Looks like a little shower just across the Wisconsin River, staying north of Preston. And if we zoom out and look at kind of how these showers have been moving over the last several hours, staying in northern Wisconsin, they're doing what we call training. So they're moving from west to east. They're not quickly moving out of the area. Places are continuously getting hit by rain, which is some good news. Northern Wisconsin does need the rain just as much as we do, and so that's primarily where most of that shower and thunderstorm activity is going to stay this evening. But as we continue to make our way closer to that 5-6 o'clock hour, when we may see a stray thunderstorm or two develop, that's when we could see some develop along the Mississippi River, maybe a spotty shower or two into more of central parts of our coverage area. Future Track does have a lot of that activity, as I said, staying across northern and central parts of Wisconsin. So tonight we're headed into the 50s, pretty seasonal, underneath partly cloudy to mostly cloudy conditions. We talked about the rain chances earlier on in the newscast. We'll take a look at what our temperatures are going to be like, and if there's a big warm up or a big cool down, or are we going to stay pretty much the same over the next 7 to 10 days? That's coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Blaze, thank you. New details right now. The House has voted to cut all federal funding from public broadcasters NPR and PBS. Conservatives say public broadcasting has a liberal bias and is not representative of the public as a whole. NPR and PBS reject that claim and say the charge is politically motivated. The bill still needs to pass the Senate and be signed by the president.
Right now, protests in support of Los Angeles and against ICE are spreading across the country.
A hearing is underway right now on California's push to limit the president's use of the National Guard and other military troops in California. Protests have sprung up in New York, Seattle, Chicago, Milwaukee, and more. And this weekend, more than 1,900 events are scheduled around the country against the president's immigration policies and deployment of the military. The No Kings rallies coincide with the president's birthday and his military parade in Washington, D.C.
One of those protests is expected to take place here at the capital city on Saturday.
Our Tanisha Shaw talked to the Madison Police Department about their safety plan this weekend.
city of Madison is preparing for a busy Saturday.
We've got a ride of the lake. We've got high school graduations, farmers markets.
In addition to those events, demonstrators are planning a No Kings rally against President Donald Trump's policies Saturday afternoon. This is just days after huge and chaotic protests broke out in Los Angeles. Madison Police Chief John Patterson says MPD is preparing to keep everyone safe as protests are expected to take over the downtown area Saturday afternoon.
People need to think of us. I mean, we are caretakers for the community. We are not, there to just be, guardians of the corner, so to speak. I mean, we're there. We want to be approachable. We want to talk with you, and we want to make sure that we're doing our best as caretakers to ensure a safe gathering and a safe event for everyone.
I'll have more on how MPD plans to keep everyone safe in downtown Madison this weekend tonight at 10. Reporting in Madison, Tanasia Shaw, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Tanasia. We will have coverage of the protests and Madison Police's response right here on News 3 Now all weekend. And you can stay informed with real-time updates to your phone with our free mobile app. We have new information about a shooting last night on Madison's east side. Madison police say the 22-year-old victim will survive. He's in the hospital recovering after someone shot at him from a car while in a parking lot. Police recovered 2 guns while investigating, but they still have not arrested anyone. All lanes on WISC-16 are open this afternoon after a crash near the Wisconsin Dells this morning. At about 4:30, the Columbia County Sheriff's Office responded to a crash. It took 4 hours to clear and shut down all lanes in both directions between Lewiston Station and New Haven. Neither the Sheriff's Office nor the Wisconsin Department of Transportation have confirmed whether anyone was hurt.
For the first time, the Dane County Sheriff's Office successfully recovered stolen money for a scam victim. The victim clicked a link on what they thought was a legitimate website, and it ended up compromising their bank account. Overseas scammers were able to get the person's personal information and transfer thousands of dollars using cryptocurrency. The Sheriff's Office was able to get some of that money back. This marks one of only 10 successful takebacks in Wisconsin.
Well, today marks 12 years since the killing of 25-year-old Madison mother Julia Majette. In 2013, she was at her home on North Thompson Drive when someone shot her in front of her children. Madison police have yet to find her killer. In a statement today, MPD said they remain committed to holding those responsible for her death accountable. Anyone with information about her death should contact the Madison Area Crime Stoppers. You can leave that tip anonymously. Wall Street ticking higher today. The Dow is up 102 points, the Nasdaq is up 47, and the S&P 500 is up 23.
Madison schools are offering free lunch for students this summer. Partnering with the Summer Food Service Program, Madison will provide meals to all kids and teens 18 years old and younger. That will include healthy breakfasts, lunches, and snacks at no cost, regardless of income or enrollment status. 12 Madison schools and 14 other locations across Madison will distribute the food on weekdays starting June 23rd. We have a full list of those locations at this story on channel3000.com.
Coming up on Live at 4, Blaze has your Father's Day forecast.
We'll tell you how much rain we could be getting and when the smoke will finally clear out when we come back. We're giving the weather satellite a spin today. And Brady, where are we?
We are in Louisville, Kentucky.
Louisville.
I've been practicing.
I said Louisville, and Brady corrected me. That is not how you say it. Say it again.
Louisville.
Louisville.
That's how I heard it in a movie. So anyway.
And of course that's right. Well, they have the right idea
they
today.
Do. 87 degrees and cloudy.
Great pool.
Folks down there might need a little ice in their bourbon today, Blaze.
Yeah, we definitely are not anywhere near the 90s, but it may feel like we're getting closer as we head into next week. We're going to tap into some of that heat that's been sitting just off to our south, like in Louisville. 70s tomorrow, upper 70s to low 80s in southwestern parts of Wisconsin. We'll stay partly sunny. Further to the north, more cloud cover and a better chance for that rain. Any rain chance that we have over not only tonight, but into Friday and Saturday are going to be hit or miss. The The more widespread rain arrives as we head into Monday and Tuesday of next week. The haze is going to be sticking around as we go overnight into Friday. We're already looking at moderate to unhealthy air for some folks. In the orange, that's where we find that unhealthy for some air quality forecast. Everybody else in the yellow is underneath moderate air quality for your Friday. There's a couple reasons why. We've got obviously the haze in the atmosphere. We also have warmer temperatures, so the air isn't necessarily as moving around as much. And our winds are light, so we're not moving the pollutants, whether it's smoke or anything else, throughout the atmosphere. It's pretty stagnant, if you will. So expect a poor air quality day tomorrow. But as I mentioned, as we go into next week, we flirt with the 90s. Tuesday and Wednesday, upper 80s to low 90s, and we stay in the 80s pretty much over the next 7 to 10 days, which means every day that we forecast is above normal, especially there Tuesday and Wednesday when we're in those mid to upper 80s. We should be in the upper 70s, but we've of course are getting near to the start of summer, so we got to start to feel like summer as well. When we look at how the days have played out so far in June in the Madison area, it's been a mixed bag. We've had a couple of warmer than average days, about 4, the 2nd, the 3rd, the 6th, and on the 11th, but we've had more cooler than average days as well. So our average temperature, believe it or not, is about 65.5 degrees from the start of the month through yesterday's date, which is only 0.1 degree above normal for this time frame. So we're not necessarily seeing a warmer than average start to June, nor a cooler than average start. We're pretty seasonal. And it does look like we're going to stay at least above average or trend that way as we go over the next 6 to 10 days. We're looking at about a 50 to 60% chance of being warmer than average. That jet stream continues to remain in Canada. So as that moves northwards, so does the warmer air. So that's what we're going to be under as we head over the next couple of days. Father's Day on Sunday, we're looking at the low 80s with variable cloudiness, afternoon showers and thunderstorms, especially further to the west. Those are going to continue to slide their way south and eastward as we go throughout your Father's Day. So maybe we make plans for Dad in the morning, but take the First Warn Weather app with you because, again, a stray shower or thunderstorm can't be ruled out as we head further into those afternoon hours. Here's the 3 things you need to know. Tonight, stray storm. Friday, stray storm, but sunny. And then the weekend, a couple storms possible as well. There is a look at your 7 and 10 day forecast. We do dry out as we head into the middle of next week with some showers and thunderstorms returning by next Friday.
Thank you, Blaze. And here's your reminder to vote in the Best of Madison 2025. You can support your favorite local businesses and people, like Blaze, by going to the link on your screen. Voting isn't just for people in Madison, though. You can vote if you're in nearby counties like Rock and Columbia. You can only vote once this time, and you'll have until the end of the month.
Well, coming up on Live at 4, the Joint Committee on Finance is set to take up education in the state budget tonight.
And we're joined by a political analyst on what to expect when we're back.
Well, thanks for staying with us on Live at 4. Tonight, the legislature's powerful budget writing committee will meet.
They're taking up a series of pieces of the state budget, including education funding. Joining us now to talk about what to expect, Dave Cheslevich. Good to see you, Dave.
Good to see you.
Yeah, so let's start with the education funding. The state superintendent has said the state reimburses schools for less than 30% of legally required services for special ed. She also wants the state to address retention rates. I guess the question is, do you think the GOP will be able to meet where Governor Evers' budget stood on the issues?
Well, probably not. This is a movie we've seen before where the governor proposes significant increases in public education funding, and then the Republicans in the legislature pretty much zero them out, make a smaller increase, and then Governor Evers tends to use his line item veto creatively, as he did last time, and find ways to get more money into public education than the Republicans would have liked, but not as much as he proposed in the first place. They seem, the Republicans have apparently decided they're going to find a way to construct the budget in such a way that he's unable to use his line item veto to do that. So that'll be interesting to see how they pull that off. Look, I don't think they're going to give Evers everything he wants, and I don't think they're going to give him anything at this point. I think they're going to wait and see if they can have a grand bargain with the governor. The Republicans want higher tax cuts. Governor Evers and the Democrats want more money for public education. It probably wouldn't make sense for the Republicans right now to give the governor anything he wants. They'll probably give him nothing at this point. But then I would expect at some point there'll be some negotiating, and we'll see some money, some more money for public education, some tax cuts. They'll probably meet in the middle.
Yeah, we'll follow it closely. It'll be interesting to see what happens tonight. We also wanted to ask you about another topic. On Tuesday, the Joint Finance Committee shot down a proposal for security for judges. What are your thoughts about that?
And I think that was a mistake. Obviously, we've seen a great deal of tension since President Trump resumed office, great deal of tension between the executive branch and the judicial branch at that level. Here in Wisconsin, very, very sadly, a few years ago, a judge, a retired circuit court judge, John Raymer, in, I believe it was Juneau County, was killed by a man he had sentenced to 6 years in prison. So unfortunately, and it's very unfortunate that this has come to the fore, but unfortunately, judges are more at risk than they have been in the past. And it seemed to me that the $2.5 million that Governor Evers had proposed for greater security for the courts did make a lot of sense. I thought it was warranted. And so I think it's very unfortunate that Joint Finance did not include that.
I think we have about 30 seconds left to wrap everything up. That June 30th deadline for lawmakers is approaching. Do you think they're going to meet that deadline?
No, of course not. That's not the end of the world. You know, these budget processes have gone into October in the past. It's not like the federal government. The state government continues to operate under the old budget. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, because with all the cuts proposed at the federal level, it might be a good thing for the state budget to lag a few months to see what happens there.
All right. Thank you very much, Dave.
Good to talk to you, Mayor Dave. Thank you so much. We'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
Coming up on Live at 4, Blaze has a final look at the forecast.
Plus, what to expect at this evening's night market downtown.
Well, get ready to meet some of Madison's favorite mascots.
And we're not talking about us. It's going to be the big draw at the Madison Night Market, which returns to the downtown area tonight. From 5 to 9, you can snap some selfies with forward Madison FC's Strut and the Madison Mallards Maynard. Plus, the Madison Nightmares women's softball team will be there, repping the city's newest sports sensation. Always a lot of fun out there.
Always, and it should be a nice night for it tonight.
Yeah, we'll hang out in what looks to be the 70s underneath partly sunny conditions. The clouds will move in as we head overnight. Maybe take the umbrella, or at the very least take us with you on the First Word weather app. If maybe a cloud looks like it could be a little bit on the darker side, you can always check our interactive radar and see if it's going to rain or not. But I think most of us will stay dry, not only this evening, but into the day on Friday, and then a better chance for rain Monday, Tuesday of next week.
All right, looks great. Thank you, Blaze. We'll be right back. Here's what's coming up tomorrow on Live at 4. A speaker at this weekend's No Kings protest will join us. We'll talk about why people are taking to the streets. And straight ahead at 5, how long the man accused of brutally attacking a UW student will spend behind bars. That's coming up at 5. Thanks for joining us, everybody, on this Thursday. We hope to see you right back here tomorrow. You can catch us 24/7 all the time, streaming on Channel 3000+. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.